You can get it all by calling 900 WWE Shop. That's not... No more 900 numbers.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Yes! You just made the list!
Brock Lesnar.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stuart Van.
My name's Joshua Plummer.
And we're back for another review. And as our previous one, we done AEW's show they did. We're now going to do an NXT Takeover. I don't I like the AEW stuff. I don't remember us doing an NXT review like separately, unless I haven't done one for a while anyway.
I'm not quite sure if we have done a takeover. I know we've definitely mentioned them whenever we've done, say, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, because they've always been the night before. So we've definitely mentioned them. Yeah,
I mean, I think the only one I can think of the top of my head is like we did do a review of like I think the UK Championship thing tournament that happened. I think
we did do the UK Championship,
a couple of years ago.
Yes, we did do that. Yeah,
but except for that, I don't think we've done NXT like separately. So this is another first for us. So
it's another first. Well, we've got to keep the masses entertained. Everyone's in lockdown. There's not much going on, so.
Well, sort of in lockdown now. It's sort of like all the shops, most of everything sort of shops open again, sort of in like a week, and then the pubs might open at the end of the month. So
yeah, things are opening, then shutting again, opening, shutting. You can open, then they have to close, and yeah, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think I don't think the idea of going out scares the hell out of me at the moment. Like seriously, really does. So. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about NXT Takeover.
In your house.
Indeed. I will be honest, this did come out of the blue, really. In the sense of, we didn't expect a takeover for a while. I don't know if this is around about the time they have one, but like in your house, I mean, it kind of works for the whole situation we're all in. So but it was it just came out of the blue, really. They just announced it and then just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but NXT Takeover in your house has a much better ring to it rather than NXT Takeover at the Performance Center.
Yeah, it's more catchy, I guess. Yeah. Hashtag, in your house. Kind of works, doesn't it?
I really like what they did with the set as well. They actually used the in your house window and the doors, the houses. They're chock full of nostalgia, this show, which was fun and a very nice touch.
Yeah, they actually, look like they put some effort in,
Yeah.
It's not like they did with the WrestleMania. It's just like, it's like WrestleMania. What did he do? I just put the WrestleMania sign, put it there. There you go. It actually looks like they put a bit more effort in it.
Yeah, I'm still pissed that we didn't get our pirate ship. I wanted my pirate ship.
Let it go, man. Seriously, holding a grudge for that long.
We didn't even
Let it go.
We didn't even get Kairi Sane coming down from a zip line or whatever on a rope, just swinging down like a pirate. Like, nope, didn't get that at all. Very disappointed.
That's it. Is it? It's not. Is it up there with the cancel WWE Network level? Hashtag. It's not up that level.
Oh no, WrestleMania 36 does not have Roman Reigns' seat.
Well, you can't talk about them in a moment. I mean, I think they are. They might be, but you don't know. Oh. But anyway, yeah. So
it's not
so they actually put out the set.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that.
Speaking of Kairi Sane, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, this shows like it just for once it actually put a bit of effort in. They actually tried to actually make it feel special in some way. It was the first time I've seen that for like a very long time in WWE anyway, or NXT or anything like that.
Yeah, they had some kind of gimmick throughout, including at the beginning of the presentation. I'm not quite sure who the that kind of guest announcer presenter was, but he was presenting the previous In Your House pay-per-views, which is again a very nice touch and very well appreciated, even though I had absolutely no idea who he was. but I had to have a quick search of it, and obviously I can't remember his name. But yeah, that was lovely. That was quite nice.
Yeah, it was just obviously before any match started, he had a really cool. Like I do like about NXT is obviously they've still got that sort of like metal sort of like grit to it sometimes, and they played Cold Orange, the theme song for the whole pay-per-view, and they done it live, and it sounded pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it was the second time they performed live at a takeover. They performed. Was it Alice? I think they did Aleister Black's theme for one of the takeovers. They may have even done it 3 times. They may have opened a takeover as well.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing one where they opened it. I think it won't surprise me if it's the one before WrestleMania, probably Takeover one.
Yeah, I think it was New Orleans. I think.
Yeah, but I just like it. It's just like because it's for us, it panders to people like us because that's our kind of music, really.
Yeah, it feels like it's part of that kind of. If NXT with the what was the dark ring mat and the darker lighting, the grittier kind of set, it feels more kind of underground. It's like, yeah, you've got this commercial, poppy, corporate look of WWE, and then let's go to NXT, which is where the good shit is. It's kind of like you're going to the black market where it's like, this stuff is so good. It's like almost like illegal.
No, it just, again, it feels like, because if that's what we're missing, it needs that grit. Like, it feels a bit, on edge. That's,
hey, that's very good. Did you do that deliberately?
Yes, of course I did.
With grit, on edge, very good.
Oh god, I can't wait to. It'd be interesting to see that match when we do our review for Backlash. But anyway,
you mean the greatest match of all time?
Yes, that.
And speaking of greatest matches of all time, we're recording this on the. I've lost track of it. It is Tuesday, isn't it? Today we're recording. Was it?
Yes, it is.
Was it today or yesterday? Marked the 2-year anniversary of, some might say, the greatest wrestling match of all time. Well, according to Dave Meltzer, at least. But not quite 7 stars, if there is such a thing. But absolutely fantastic match. Okada and Omega in their 4th encounter. Dominion 2018 in their 2 out of 3 falls match, which went way over an hour. Fantastic.
We'll get into that when we actually get to see the greatest match of all time, like greatest wrestling match of all time. Apparently rumours saying it's really long, so you might fall asleep before the end.
It can't be as long as that WrestleMania. Imagine if they went exactly the same amount of time as Omega and Okada, or they just went a petty second longer. It's like, just because it's long doesn't mean it's brilliant.
Oh, no, I think, hey mate, we're doing it again.
You said greatest match of all time. I had things to talk about.
This is the problem when we record. It's like we don't want to do it this long, but it's just like this is more of a catch up of everything other than just NXT and all that. So we can't help ourselves.
Our Money in the Bank review, I think, was almost like exactly the same running time as the show itself.
Yeah, that was a killer to edit, by the way. That took forever.
This is going to be a fucker to edit as well.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Should we segue slightly to start off the matches? And speaking of fucking up, who were the competitors in the 6-woman tag team match, to open up NXT Takeover in your house?
Right, yeah.
Here we go. Speaking of fuck-ups, here's the fun part. This is the reason I do these reviews. This is the real reason why. Not just because I want to discuss pro wrestling. It's just to listen and see Stu suffer.
He's a great friend, everyone, isn't he? He's a great friend. He loves. Seeing me just butcher the English language, right?
Yeah. Oh, I could be an arsehole and go, who are the competitors in the New Japan Cup? Who's facing each other?
Oh, mate, you know what? Just for a challenge, I think what I'm going to do is I might see if I can do like a review of that and like torture myself by like trying to pronounce those names and see if I can get them right.
They're not that difficult.
But it is for me. It is for me. You know it is for me.
All right, so
anyway, yeah. So obviously
6-woman tag team match.
Yes. Obviously that's unusual because they don't normally do these kind of 6 men or women tag team matches not in a takeover anyway.
And this match was only added last minute as well.
Yeah, well, definitely. The good thing about it is it was last minute, but it never felt like that. It didn't feel like a match that was just tagged along because it was really good. But I'm dodging the question here. But anyway, so obviously it was Tegan Nox,
Shotzi Blackheart, yeah.
Mia Yim versus Dakota Kai, Candice LeRae. I had it before.
Come
we
on,
recorded,
one more
but
name. Go on, Stu. That's not her name, by the way.
No. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Stu Gonzalez. That'd be interesting.
Stu Gonzalez.
Yes, we're quick. I can't. It's that cue. It gets me every time. It's just but basically, yeah, Gonzalez. Go for that. I always get if I get last name, that sort of matters. But anyway,
so,
yeah. But
Speedy Gonzalez or Stu Gonzalez.
Trust me, that's not an insult. But anyway, listen, this. I apologise, and anyone about my terrible ability to pronounce names. But yeah.
But Stu doesn't care about you, so there we go.
Thanks, Josh. Cheers. Great. What a great friend, isn't he? Just a great friend, everyone. But anyway, yes, this, as you said before, this whole debacle happened. Yeah, they had it was all set up. Was it week before? It's basically like a continuation of the rivalries we had before. Like maybe Candice LeRae and Mia Yim have sort of been put together because of the whole Johnny Gargano thing, like turning heel and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Candice LeRae, like, just out of curiosity, what are you thinking of her like heel run, or like how she is a new character change, as you would say?
I think it's fresh. It's doing something completely different. Gargano had that brief kind of heel or tweener kind of run after he tacked Aleister Black and then turned face again before Ciampa got injured. So it's just nice, I think, if you've got that husband and wife kind of pairing. If they're both faces, I think you got like less. I don't know. There's less to do, I guess, or that the heel turn of again using the nut shot as usual in that match against Ciampa. I'm not quite sure both their theme music's changed. Not quite sure when that happened, but I'm liking they've got great chemistry. And if they're both heels, they can play off each other brilliantly and have the same mindsets.
I mean, you obviously had. You had them cool little was it dinner vignettes of them just sort of like talking about like obviously it's not their place, or it might be, I don't know, but yeah, it was just I liked those little segments because it just, I don't know, it just proved a sort of like like they're dining because they like want to take over NXT and stuff. It was quite good, but I was just curious because obviously it seems to be a thing when like a sort of fake babyface doesn't really connect or doesn't really do much, they kind of just turn them heel, dye their hair, and then basically just, that's act all heelish. Like that's what they did with Dakota Kai as well. Same thing. Mm-hmm. But no, it's curious. I mean, because it might just be the proven thing in wrestling is if you want to, if you're not getting over the face, they say turn heel
and dye your hair.
Pretty much. I mean, think about it. If you look at that, that's what they do. I don't know if it's a thing like, do you say like Dakota Kai is the same thing? She's like, she just dyed her hair again and just got like more like dark makeup and stuff and just gone all evil.
Yeah, I think there's more to it than just the hairstyle though.
I know, I'm just
complete character change. Yeah, but yeah, probably the bigger story and the more long running story with this the 6-woman tag is the story between Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai. Obviously, Tegan Nox coming back from not one but 2 horrific leg injuries, so it's fantastic to see her back, and she's put in the War Games match.
Yes, the greatest one of the greatest turn like of that year.
Yeah,
one of the moments of the 2019 for sure.
Yeah, Dakota Kai obviously not being selected for a team initially, and is only brought in because of an injury. She basically screws over her team attacked Tegan Nox, attacking the leg, shutting her leg in the door of that cell that they're stuck in, and thus began their rivalry, leading to their street fight match at NXT Takeover Portland, which is going really well. I was enjoying that match, and then the arrival of... This is always a risky move. If you introduce someone who the crowd have absolutely no idea who they are.
Yeah, I mean, you have that. You've had. I mean, you've had a couple. I think I've seen AEW when they've done that. Like they've debuted someone, and everyone's just looked at them, and gone, "Who are they?" And it's like, and it just gets no reaction. I mean, to be fair with this, they're doing a whole like Dakota Kai and Gonzalez, sort of like as always they do, is sort of like a Shawn Michaels Diesel type situation. Mm-hmm. You know, like she having a bodyguard type thing.
I think she's basically doing an MJF at the moment, I guess, and Raquel Rodriguez is kind of Wardlow, I guess. Except MJF is now kind of treating Wardlow a bit like shit now at the moment. Anyway, we're going off topic again. We're talking about AEW. We're talking about NXT.
Yes, but it's like the whole concept is that's what they're trying to go for, that sort of bodyguard type level, like you know, the big strong. But yeah. And obviously, the cool thing with Blackheart, I think it was just more of a I think she was just introduced, sort of. Yeah.
I was hoping to see. It'd be really cool if she came in on the tank, you know, like Rusev did at WrestleMania. Like, where's Shotzi Blackheart? And then just completely run over the set, the windows, smash the windows. Like,
imagine if it's like she learns how to ride a tank, and it's like if she ever gets like main roster, just like, you know, drive that tank herself. You know?
Oh yeah, it's like Undertaker, American Badass came in on a bike. Shotzi Blackheart comes in on a tank.
No, it's not like, you know, it's not a one-upmanship, but you know.
Oh, it is bike, a one-upmanship.
Tank. Yeah. Tank bike.
A tank. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the little tank thing, and obviously we've been catching up the last 2 weeks at NXT. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's unique. I haven't seen it before. Mm-hmm. Kind of works, but yeah, she's. I have to admit, going into this match though, obviously because I have. I got sort of caught up with it, but I still obviously a bit vague. But so it's going in, just watching it. It's just like a six women tag team match of just like 6 good wrestlers that you know. And gotta be honest, for an opening contest for the Takeover, it was really good. I would say it was what you expect from women in NXT. Really, the quality is always pretty damn good, and you're going to get some good stuff in there, really.
Yeah, NXT takeovers usually tend to open up with a tag team contest. Tag team titles are usually on the line. The difference for me for this one was added only like the week of. And what I enjoy about takeovers is there's only, say, usually 5 matches on the card, and it's all the feuds, either title feuds or feuds that have been building like completely long term, and they're completely justifiable. What's frustrating about the main roster pay-per-views is you get matches that are just added completely last minute. There's something that happened on SmackDown or Raw the previous week, which is smack bang in the middle and no one really cares about too much. It's just like a singles match. There's no title on the line or whatever it is. It's a match they could just easily done on Raw or SmackDown the following week. And this had elements kind of that. I'd expect this match could main event like an NXT taping, no doubt, but I'm not quite sure whether it was like a takeover worthy kind of match. I'd say the same with Bálor and Priest as well, even though that was a solid match. And Balor's on the roster, you know, so Bálor has to be on the show.
That's true, but again, could it be a situation of just like, I don't know, because obviously they've got a limited number of like wrestlers that are there week by week, I guess, because everyone's. I don't know. Just again, I gotta be honest. This sort of like pay-per-view for some of the matches in this, obviously in this one, could be an example of. Is it felt kind of like they put it together a bit too hastily, if you know what I mean. Normally because it was a week. It was announced 2 weeks ago, like a month ago or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it felt like them like old WWE shows where it's just like they announced them and then like, oh crap, we've got to try and put a show together. But it feels like they never planned to do that. Not yet, anyway.
it's like when they did Hell in the Cell last year. There were only 2 or 3 matches that were like announced, and then pretty much the night of or a couple of days before they added an extra 3 or 4 matches. It's like, that's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah. Not to that level though, because that show is probably like a diabolical show. But yeah, that's what I felt like. This is sort of maybe the whole show, but this like sort of match like felt like that. But nothing take it away from the quality. It was really good. I enjoy watching it. I mean, it had some cool stuff. I mean, you had some moments where like you were doing you always do that spot when there's more than like 2 people in a match, where you got like, you know, everyone doing like suicide dives and, you know, moonsaults and all kinds of stuff outside the ring.
Mm-hmm. Tegan Knox did a fantastic moonsault on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I remember the days when you used to see women do them kind of like, you know, when you used to see like Sasha Banks do like, you know, a suicide dive and think, please don't do that again. Yeah. But like it seems I like it's a norm now, and it's it's just really cool to see.
And it's expectant as well, especially with Io Shirai, who we'll talk about a little bit later on.
Oh yes, main event, mate. It's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
But and they also have stuff with I don't know if it's like Blackheart done this really cool, like, but I don't know. I can't get like what the move is called, but it's sort of like this cool little sort of like, I don't know, binding submission type thing, where she sort of like binded someone's arms behind her back, and sort of like, it was kind of like a really cool submission that I've never seen before. It was just I can't really describe it. If I only knew the exact name of the move, but it's just like, it was like on her like stomach, and it's sort of like locking their like both their arms behind their back and type thing. Sort of like locked it in like Triple H's pedigree type thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't remember that, to be honest.
Yeah, so I noticed it when I watched the highlights back again, but but I think it's one of those things. It got all like as it does in most matches near the end. It just like everyone just sort of fighting, and then obviously Mia Ying and Candice LeRae sort of like did the thing where they fight outside, and they obviously fight to the back, and everyone just like leaves. It's like, I always love that. It's like, oh, you're just gonna leave your partners. Okay, cool. Yep. See you later then. Bye. And then it was just a 2-on-1 with, you know, Blackheart and Tegan Knox, and in some ways Tegan Knox did get her sort of revenge. In some ways, like she got a win back.
She did, yeah, and she I think she's gone on record saying that Kane is one of her favourite wrestlers, so she does her Lady Kane chokeslam. It's a great chokeslam as well, and hitting Dakota Kai with the Shiniest Wizard. You're expecting in that kind of situation, okay, here comes some shenanigans. Raquel Rodriguez taking out shots to Black Hardcore, whatever it is, something will happen. It's usually when something like that happens, someone loses a partner or whatever, it's usually the heels who benefit. So it's a nice feel-good moment to begin the show. It kind of pays off that story. I'm not quite sure whether they'll continue on with it or create a new feud, whether Dakota Kai enters a feud maybe with Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Knox goes on to maybe challenge Io Shirai, perhaps.
Possibly. I mean, it's just a good thing. It just felt like because looking at the timing of it, it's like a good 10-minute match. So it was sort of just, you know, it's like anything. It done its job. It got everyone sort of like hyped and everything like that. But like anything else, it just felt it needed a bit more story to it, a little bit more, to make it sort of like the normal. It
was the timing of it, how last minute it was added to the takeover. I guess disappointing. Wish they kind of built to it a little bit more. Maybe add a stake to it, perhaps, or an additional stipulation. Maybe eliminations, perhaps. There's one thing I'd like to have seen in a match. It's a moment where Shotzi Blackheart's taking all the offense up, building up to a hot tag with Mia Yim or Tegan Knox. So she's taking a beating from Gonzalez, LeRae, and Kai. Kai's in the ring with Shotzi, lines her up for a big boot. And if you remember, Dakota Kai's got that leg injury. She goes to the big boot, misses Shotzi, her leg goes over the rope. Her leg gets stuck on the top rope. I'd like to have seen either Shotzi take advantage on that and injure Dakota's leg and they play something with that. Because they just did like an odd thing as well, where if you know someone's got an injured leg there and you've got 2 tag team partners, none of them tagged in. Candice LeRae or Raquel Gonzalez, neither of them tagged in or showed any initiative, which I found odd.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. Just again, it was just fine. But it's you can. What you said earlier is like, is it that kind of like, you know, level for like, is it what you expect from takeover matches? Was it? I mean, was it, you know, up there? But you know, but it's fine. It was good. It's what it needed to be. And you know, I'm not gonna completely rip on them for that, because
no, it wasn't a bad match.
No, it's like NXT have got a good track record, very good track record of putting on amazing matches. So, what can you expect really? But yeah, obviously, yeah. So our next, obviously after this, one thing I got to mention, they forgot that they kept doing these adverts, like old school adverts they used to do.
They did. Was that William Regal doing the voices? It sounded like William Regal.
Yeah, I think it was. They reminded me of what was it? No, what was it? The National Wrestling Alliance were doing with their like power shows that are on YouTube, where they kept doing them, and they're supposed to be bad. They're supposed to be like look like they've just been recording on the fly, because they weren't great. But that was the point, because I think that's how they were back in the day. But they did have some good. There was, you know. But I just thought I'd bring it up because it's just like you just don't see that kind of stuff anymore. But yeah. So obviously next match after that was Finn Bálor going against Damian Priest in a match that was pretty set up as old school as you would like. Is basically Damian Priest attacks Finn Bálor. Finn Bálor wasn't happy. Then there's a match.
Yeah, and if you take just those 2 characters out of it, the names regardless, there's a story of someone who a wrestler's come in like fairly newish, wants to establish themselves as maybe another top guy or potential threat. So what do? You don't keep battling like jobbers and people in the undercard. You go for the jugular. You go for those marquee wrestlers to try and state your point.
Yeah, but it's I gotta like it because that's a bit nothing against Damian Priest, but he's really good in the ring, and he's got a kind of, you know, I like his character. But the only problem I always have with Damian Priest is I look at him going, I know for a fact if you get called up to the main boss, you're going to be buried, because they won't understand your character. I mean, in NXT it's great. You see, it's just, that's what I see. It's like he's got a cool entrance, you know. It's got a cool, like, you know, he's got a cool moveset. I mean, he's very good in the ring, but it worries me if he ever called him up. That's the only problem I've got with him, really.
Yeah, he's trained in multiple disciplines of martial arts, I think they mentioned as well. This match didn't have a lot of grappling either, so this is more kind of like a brawl, which makes sense. But there were a couple of rest holds, but in terms of like grappling, slamming, there wasn't a lot of it. It was there were like forearm strikes, a lot of kicks. Yeah, not a lot of grappling. Very much like a brawl, you know. Finn Bálor coming straight out of the gate, just hitting a drop kick straight away. Very, again, going back to AEW, very kind of Brian Cage. I'm just going to start the match now.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm fed. You're not making a name off me, and it's just like,
exactly,
it's great.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you're gonna fight me, you're gonna have to be ready.
We are talking about the Prince.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, again, he's been doing great work, Finn, as always, because it feels like he's actually showing his character again, like the Prince Devitt type days. It's like that promo, when I'm watching the promo package into this match, and it's just like he just makes this sort of like, but we usually said basic, kind of simple storyline, and kind of made it really personal, just by one promo, just by a really good worked promo. Do you just forget how good Finn Bálor is in the promo department?
Oh, I never forget how good Finn Bálor is. And I'm loving his promos, especially since coming back to NXT, where he's one of those. If he is a heel, he's a heel that's cheered. You know, it's kind of like Io Shirai. Like, regardless of what you're going to do, what you do, you're going to get cheered because what you've accomplished, what you achieved, and the respect that you've earned.
Yeah, he is that kind of guy. I mean, I think it's because it's just like he's got the two things that, as you were saying about a wrestler needs to sort of. He's got a great character, and obviously he's amazing in the ring. If you have one or the other, you're able to get away with it. But if you have neither, you're kind of screwed. But I mean,
but if you're big, then Vince will hire you.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah, he can't wrestle. But he's big though.
Yeah, the great Kali, anyone?
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Think of India, the audience from India. That's all it was. That's why they were so popular, those YouTube videos.
Yes. Well, we're talking. That's you've done an article on that. You should definitely check out if you listen to that on his What Culture. So about like the most viewed YouTube videos on the WWE YouTube page. It's actually crazy what was on that list.
I know. Vicky Guerrero and Stephanie McMahon was a surprising one. There's one with Rusev and Mark Henry. Yeah, some very surprising ones indeed. Anyway, Finn Bálor and Damian Priest.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's like it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're just chatting. That's what this whole thing's about, mate. It's all good. It's all good.
I'm tired.
But yeah, I mean, you chose to do this, mate. You chose. I did say you didn't want to do it, but
I did because I wanted to get this out. I didn't want to end up recording it on like a Saturday or whatever when it's not relevant anymore. Because by the time we've done that on Saturday, and then what happens on the Monday or Tuesday, we'd have to record Backlash. Let's space it out nicely.
Oh god. Yes, because I don't. Because this will take a anyway. Yes, but anyway, but again, like Damian Priest, some of those kicks he did in this match were like pretty spectacular. I think he done like this really cool like 360 roundhouse kick that looked really good. I mean, I think there was a good like an exchange of them doing like him doing roundhouse kick, and then all kinds of kicks, and then obviously Finn Bálor doing that his Pele kick. As well, but it's just like there was some like good exchanges that like I think like this match proves that if there's potential for this to be like really great feud if they give them maybe one or two more matches, because they had a good connection. I would say like they look like they could work well together.
Yeah, I think so. It can also be used as a really good reference point as well for I can see the likes of Bálor holding the NXT Championship again, or perhaps the NXT UK Championship. I can't wait for that match. I can't wait for Bálor and Walter. That's going to be very, very tasty at some point when they eventually do that.
I mean, if it's anything like that, the match was it Walter and Tyler Bate. If it's anything like, because Tyler Bate and like Finn Bálor is sort of similar build and kind of similar in some ways. So if it's anything like that match, then we're in for a treat. When that match happens, when people can travel again, and people, that would be great. But I mean, the finish of this match was quite interesting. With was it Damian Priest falling on some steel steps that he put, he set up himself, and sort of as always, it would sometimes with heels it backfire, or in some ways backfires. I mean, he did land quite awkwardly.
First angle. Obviously, it hit him on the lower part of the back. It meant to hit him across the entire back, but jumped too far. Whatever it was, just hit the lower part of his back, and it looked a particularly nasty bump on the first time because it looked like he landed his lower back right on the corner of the steps. That looked like it sucked. And then from the second angle, it's like flat on his lower back. So, not too bad. But for that first angle, it looked devastating.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking when he was not getting up after it, and then obviously ref was like, coming to him, I thought, this could be like, that's how the match ends. Like, he takes him out. Mm-hmm. But after this, the match picked up, and it's basically like Finn Bálor hitting a sort of, technically like a coup de grace on the top, on the back of Damian Priest. And then that got him. Yeah. And then hit, and then went to the top. I actually had to go quite far for this one. He's not as close. Damian Priest wasn't as close to the ring, the corner. Finn Bálor normally does it. But and he hit another one. to get the win. And
he now holds the record for the most NXT Takeover wins. I think he's got the best Takeover record as well. 11 wins and 1 loss, I think it was.
What a surprise. Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah, that just proves how great he is. You know, the way they booked him in NXT when he was in it previously, and the way they're booking him now. But yeah, again, this was good. I really enjoyed this one. Again, the question is if it's like, you know, like NXT sort of takeover level. I would say, kind of, yeah, it is up there. But I think it works because you got like the way it's probably going to go is like Finn Balor's probably going to challenge for the NXT title at some point again. And then you got obviously Damian Priest will probably go for either he'll still, you know, I don't see him going for the title for a while, but you know, he could always go another. You know, Keith Lee maybe, as that's probably a good setup for the next match we'll talk about in a minute. But I've been. Do you think by the end of the year Finn Balor will probably have the NXT title at some point? Because, what do you think?
I think he'll have either the NXT title or the NXT UK title. If he's the face of the UK, that'd be amazing, especially for us UK fans.
I mean, if any brands need some sort of lift at the moment, it's NXT UK. I gotta be honest. But yeah, I mean, because it had so much sort of potential, but for some reason it just doesn't. It doesn't feel right. It just hasn't got the sort of momentum NXT has. I don't know if that's just because of the way they booked it, where they put it, or what. But so that Finn Balor, you know, Damian Priest, it was again slightly other match. It was good. It was entertaining, you know, and Finn Balor winning makes sense, really. But as I said earlier, it's like I think Damian Priest might get into. Obviously, that leaded into the NXT North American Championship match between Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano. Yeah, I mean, this was a very this match felt like it was an NXT Takeover match, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, this would be a dream match. Well, any card really, but it's one of those matches you'd think like a few years ago. This would be a top match on PWG or something like that.
I mean, what are you thinking about the story? Like the way he's setting it up. I mean, the whole thing with I have to admit, for even watching for the 2 weeks leading up to this, and I'm not even sure how it all started, but I don't know if it's just a situation because Johnny Gargano was trying the whole, like, he's kind of taking over Finn Balor's story in a bit with the whole, like, you know, this is not my NXT anymore type thing. Yeah.
And they're both kind of proclaimed like Mr. NXT or faces of NXT. Gargano in those segments where he's doing the tale for two, Candice LeRae, where he's saying, who would have thought years ago that I would be the first ever NXT Grand Slam champion? Then there's a smart ass part of my brain going, yeah, because NXT wasn't around. You couldn't have thought of that. It wasn't around probably when you started in developmental. It wasn't there.
Maybe this works on his delusions. You know, he's that deluded. Maybe, but
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I'm a big fan of his work. I got to be honest. It's again, it's like he seems like Johnny. You would think Johnny Gargano is like a character could only work as like the lovable underdog babyface, but it works here because it's sort of like it's kind of like, again, I bring up a lot, but Sami Zayn's sort of like thing where it's just like it's arrogance, but like times it by 10. It's like, and it just, and obviously it does help with the whole, like, you know, Candice LeRae turning heel as well. Sort of like just makes it a bit more interesting, and it's one of those things that perfectly works. It doesn't feel like corny or like doesn't feel right. Keith Lee, I mean, Keith Lee. I mean, the guy's amazing.
He's absolutely.
That's what you have to do with Keith Lee. You just have to say his name in like
you just got to bask in his glory.
And it's just, I don't think he's been doing last 2 weeks. He hasn't been doing anything like since he won the title. He hasn't been doing much. I don't think. Might have been because of the whole like not coming back, but
he's had feuds with obviously with Damian Priest, with Dominik Dijakovic. They had that classic match NXT Takeover Portland. But we've not seen much of Dominik Dijakovic, I don't think, either. But yeah, Keith Lee has been especially pushed on the main roster, with Survivor Series being the last member for NXT, won the Sole Survivors, or not the Sole Survivor, but he went up against Reigns, and then had that showing at the Royal Rumble as well, face to face with Brock Lesnar, knocking Brock Lesnar on his ass. So obviously they see a big future in Keith Lee.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. It's like, it's that. I think it was like not Royal Rumble. I think Survivor Series. Like that was the thing that Vince likes him apparently. So if Vince likes it, that's it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be pushed to the moon. But I mean, sometimes Vince doesn't get it right. But if he likes this guy, it's totally justified, because this is. We'll talk about this match. I mean, it was just most of the time I kind of like the whole start of it. It was just more of a Johnny Gargano going old school heel, like sort of chicken shit heel. Sort of like he's getting his ass handed to him, and he's basically running away, and it was hilarious. I mean, especially the bit when he went to the one thing I forgot to mention is like the cool little start off of Johnny Gargano coming out the door. They actually used the stage properly. Yeah,
it was a nice smooth edit. When he was doing his interview, he's actually in his house. Oh wait, no, he's in the Takeover house. If he's Mr. Takeover, that makes sense as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was as a not like a video editor, but as an audio editor, I kind of I can appreciate that good editing like that. But yeah, I mean, obviously, but then later on the match talking about is he sort of like he went to the door. And I kind of like the camera. They used the I think they used the camera at the doorbell.
Yes, it's like a security camera. Yeah. I
mean, and it's just Johnny Gargano's like, I can't get in. It's like, and I thought to myself, yeah, because you got your keys in your trunks. So of course you're not going to get in.
That's what Johnny Gargano did throughout the match as well, working those two kind of body parts really. So the hand of Keith Lee. But also Keith Lee's eye. So obviously he stabbed him in the eye the previous week on NXT.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it just basically worked that, and it was basically the whole thing until you thought he was gonna. You thought it was just the way it was set up at some point. You thought it was going to be like that's going to be the thing that gets Johnny Gargano the win, especially when I think it was what was it? I can't remember if it was the point where he done another one where there was pounces once again. That was freaking awesome, by the way. Where it's just like Johnny Gargano doesn't know where he is, and then all of a sudden he turns around and he pushes it like he does that pounce he did on Adam Cole, and he went for the plate. Was it the right shield type? Yeah, and it just looked amazing. It's like, and the way they had the railing as well. That could have went wrong in so many ways.
And as soon as he goes through, it's not like, oh God, is Johnny all right? Or, oh my God, that was awesome. It's like, oh God, social distancing. Move.
It was like, we can't help you, mate. Sorry. and I mean, after that, it's just like, technically, Johnny Gargano was basically like unconscious. Yeah. He was out. And then Candice LeRae, just like says, please don't, hurt my husband. Mia Ying came out again, they fought, but when Johnny Gargano used the key again in Keith Lee's eye and sort of like hit the DDT does, I thought that was it. I thought he was going to win the title there, but obviously we didn't. There was a surprise because obviously I thought myself he was going to win to sort of legitimize his sort of heel push, but maybe it's just me. But I mean, again, as anything, it was just a cool finish with basically doing a quick Keith Lee doing on a power bomb, and then he was doing that. Was it Big Bang?
I think it's Big Bang Catastrophe. I think it's called.
Awesome move, by the way.
This is great. The Spirit Bomb as a kind of signature as well. Just jumping back just a little bit. One of the kind of signature moments I like when in Keith Lee's matches, I don't think he's done it recently, is when he's like off camera and he's usually like below the apron or by the apron as the opponent stood on the apron, like in shot, maybe gloating, celebrating, whatever, and then Keith Lee just pops up and his like face has changed, so he's like either he's got that kind of like smug, charismatic kind of look about him. It's like, yep, people are basking in my glory. And then there's pissed off Keith Lee face. And he comes up and like, oh, that Keith Lee's going to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a moment in that match. I think where he did that. So you're like, crap. And it's sort of like, I need to run now.
There was that moment where, trying the Torpe Suicida and Keith Lee just catches him. And Johnny Gargano's face like, oh, crap. I am in trouble. I can't use this high-flying offense because not only is Keith Lee very, very powerful, Keith Lee can also do the stuff that I can do. The high-flying shit.
He's quick. He's ridiculously quick for some of his size. I mean, it's like it's not as surprising now because a lot of people do now. Where it's like sort of people his size can do like amazing things.
Yeah, it's not just his quickness; it's his agility and athleticism as well.
And again, he's got everything you need. Like he's got the charisma, he's got the character. He's entertaining. He's fun to watch, and the stuff he can do in the ring is ridiculously good. And normally with this, when I thought the chat was Gargano was going to win, and obviously Keith Lee won, it felt like a situation where it was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Keith Lee won. I'm happy with that. Would have liked Johnny Gargano to win, but it doesn't hurt anyone. It was a good match, really good match, and I would like to see that feud continue. To be fair, make it like a sort of thing, like a summer feud, maybe.
Based on the way things are going, Keith Lee's next feud would be against someone like Timothy Thatcher, perhaps. And I don't think we've seen Gargano Riddle yet. Although Riddle has now gone to SmackDown, I believe.
Yes. He's. I heard rumours about that. About like he could have been managed by Kurt Angle, but because of I think like schedule, I don't think Angle could have done it. But that would have been cool. I mean, that cage match they had was. Because I just watched it like a couple of days ago. It's just like, wow, that thing was mental.
They got that platform at the top. Like, someone's jumping off that.
Yeah, you don't put it's like, why was it there if it's not there for someone to jump off?
It's like someone's setting up a table. It's like someone's got to go through the table if you're setting up the table.
Yeah, we know the drill here, man. We've been watching wrestling for a long time. We know how it works. But yeah, I mean, that match was crazy. But yeah, I mean, Thatcher would make sense because obviously, and again, you could styles wise, it would make sense because obviously you got Keith Lee's speed and sort of like power versus brute like force and sort of like proper like hard hitting. That could be a very, very good match, I would say. But yeah, I mean, again, he's got a lot of challenges, and it'd be interesting to see who takes that title from him. Again, very good. It was very entertaining. Loved it. Funny thing is, now we've got to talk about something that I'm not going to say I hated, but wasn't a big fan.
Of this concept. The match is like, okay, cool. Dream and Cole. There's a lot of speculation beforehand about Cole's contract running out in 2 months' time, 1 month's time, however long it was.
I don't know if that's just a ploy. Like they always do this.
That's just like because you think of all the traction, the publicity, and the merchandise, and the Undisputed Era success. If Adam Cole were to leave, that would be a huge blow, especially when he's just become the longest reigning NXT champion of all time, beating Finn Balor.
And you know exactly where he'll go when he's gone.
So this one, I was really confused about. I had two gripes with this match between Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole. The first one was the stipulation itself, the backlot brawl. It was. Really Regal is, for the most part, like 95% of the time, makes the best decisions ever. Like one of the best announcements he ever made was for the women's War Games match. That was so well done. It was excellent. If you're a general manager and you watch a show, you see heels constantly interrupting. The one thing you don't do, surely, is go, okay, I don't want any of you guys to get involved, so I'm going to make this some kind of a no disqualification stipulation.
Or like a cage match or something, like proper, make it fair.
At least a cage match makes sense, because they've got to go through the hassle of climbing through the cage or getting through the door, whatever. Where it's no disqualification, I'll just come down and beat you up. That's what I have to do. And same with the backlot brawl as well. There's no disqualifications, you just got to pin them in the ring. It's basically the equivalent of a street fight, but in the parking lot. So it's an actual street. It was an actual street fight. That's what it was. It was an actual street fight.
Yeah, glorified street fight. I mean, I think they mentioned it a little bit, but again, because I've watched it recently, because of my Eddie Guerrero best matches Eddie Guerrero series I did, is the Latino Heat parking lot brawl. Very similar. All the cars surrounding the ring. Or in that case, they didn't have a ring. It was just them slamming on cars. It was awesome to watch, by the way. But it's just like it was a situation of like, why did it have to be in the ring, and also why did it have to be this kind of match? It's all the cinematic matches they've had so far have had a reason to exist. Yes. This had no reason to exist. It just felt like they just put it together, and I don't know. If you're watching it, and it just felt strange. It felt weird. I mean, for once, it's the way it was sort of set. There was them lights they put up, like the car lights using it. The light. I know it's like it's outside at night, but the lighting it wasn't great, was it? There
was a lot of visual issues. The bright lights from the cars, as you said, you've got shaky cam, which is very difficult to follow if you're trying to follow a narrative. That the only reason that kind of camera is used, and especially like in action movies, that kind of shaky cam or very, very close up or lots and lots of cuts as they did, which was infuriating and quite insulting, I guess, to the wrestlers as well, because if you're doing lots and lots and lots of cuts, I know WWE do lots of cuts anyway, especially in points of impact to hide any kind of potential gaps and to make it look a bit more impactful. But if you're doing like multiple cuts, like really quick cuts, the reason they do that in most action films is to hide the fact that people or the actors that are playing these trained fighters, that they can't actually fight. That's the reason they do it. But they were doing it for this match, I guess, to make it more movie-like, I guess. But it's like, have you not heard of Jackie Channing it? Doing it in like one kind of long kind of take, or just been doing what you've been doing for all the matches, all the standard matches. Why do you have to do all this shaky, crazy cam with fast cuts? You've got one or two of the cameras had issues with focus as well, which didn't help, and it just completely took me out of the action. Yeah, it was just one. But I heard rumours that the match was too long, like way too long, and they apparently had to really edited it to put it down to the sort of level, the length it was on. I don't know. It was hard to follow at times. I mean, it was at the beginning where obviously came with a truck. The monster truck was cool. I like the monster truck. Yeah, and obviously Velveteen Dream's Lamborghini. You expect the guy's class, so you expect nothing less from him. So yeah, I thought it would have been purple, ideally, but there we go. He came out as Negan from The Walking Dead. He had a really cool leather jacket on, but I'm not quite sure why he used Negan. I'm sure there's some kind of reason, as there always is with his attire most of the time. I guess it might just be because it's just like the grittiness of sort of the fight they were going to have, maybe, because I don't know. But it wasn't even a barbed wire baseball bat, Bálor. It was just a standard baseball bat. I think it's like a covering or something. I don't know if it's just obviously he was going to use that part more or something to protect it, maybe. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, typical in this match, typical Adam Cole fashion. It's just like he gets in there, wrestles for a bit, and he goes, "You know what? Screw this," and he tries to run, and it's just and then that's when it started to be like a cat and mouse game type thing. One thing I never got is like, what was the point of that taxi? That thing where the taxi turned up, the Uber. Oh yeah, the Uber. And it's just it felt like it wasn't planned. It felt like it was one of the things that turned up, and everyone's like, "That's not a part of the plan." Okay. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. I guess for lols, I guess. But then part of me also expected it. There was an Uber, and I thought they'd both get in it and end up driving to a different location. It's like, well, that would have been fun. It would be like Peter Griffin and the chicken in Family Guy, having their fights just going all over the place.
It would have been cooler to see like they use like interesting more camera angles, like cameras inside the Uber and him just fighting while they're driving as well.
Yeah.
Would have been probably not very safe, but it would have been fun to watch.
Yeah.
But and then it was just the whole thing where Adam Cole was just running away from, as he did, running away, and obviously none of the doors opened, shocker, except for the one for the opening of the building that didn't exist, and then the fire extinguisher, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was just, I mean, in the bit with the car, like when he was just like, he was getting in the car and he was just like Velveteen Dream like smashing the window basically, or smashing the whole car. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I mean, the only bit I could think about it, and obviously as you expect, it was only a matter of time before Undisputed Era were going to turn up, as you said earlier. If this was supposed to stop Undisputed Era from coming into the match, he's completely botched that up a little bit, because they could just turn up really. It was just like that, and then it was just thought it was going to be one of those things where the screwy finish, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that must have hurt. I mean, he was bleeding on that glass, like it was bleeding on his arm. It looked like it hurt. But I mean, I don't know. It felt. Normally, these kind of matches are enjoyable. I just don't know if it felt unnecessarily complicated.
The stipulation didn't add anything to the story, and there was no reason for it. If they treated the parking lot brawl like a lumberjack match, I guess that would have been better off, because at least the crowd on the outside, not only do they beat up the competitors if they go on the outside, but also if there's outside interference, they can deal with them that way. Yeah,
I mean, you could always do they've got a parking lot in that place, right? Just do it there outside the performance center, and then have all the kind of like wrestlers sort of like there. They could if they done it
lumberjack style. Yeah, if
they done it like they did with the, I'm assuming they're inspired by the Latino Heat parking lot brawl thing with Cena and Eddie Guerrero. If it was anything like that, it would have been good, because that was just that felt like it was just a proper fight, and all the wrestlers were just sitting there like watching a fight, and like I think I remember JBL was great at that, because he was just sitting there going, beat the crap out of them, proper like a mate at a bar just watching a fight. That's, if it was like that would have been cool, but it just felt unnecessary for me.
Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream always tend to have like the best matches, I guess, at takeovers. So I'd like them just to have simple, straight wrestling match, just simple situation. Undisputed Era, they're banned from ringside, because at least Adam Cole has to try and be clever and think of something else. Because he did that with when he finally beat Gargano. He kind of pretty much did it by himself. He doesn't have to be that chicken shit heel all the time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just getting to like it's getting desperate. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's like that's why in this match I thought this is it, because what is it? He's been a champion for nearly a year. He's kind of done everything he kind of can do, and it's like giving the belt to Velveteen Dream kind of works. So that's what I was thinking they were going to do.
It's a shame, especially if you got like a world title. And it's the same for the main event as well. The big kind of thing like that, it needs that crowd and that big kind of pop. So if Adam Cole is the longest reigning NXT champion, he needs to lose it on a giant scale, I think, with a great audience against a great opponent. I mean, losing it to Velveteen Dream would have been good, but to thinking about it in this stipulation and that kind of presentation, and Cole were to lose the title that way, it'd be a very disappointing way to end that run. Yeah,
I can understand that, but it's just like the way it was set. It was just, if it was a regular match, the way it was set up, it was set for him to lose the title. I mean, another thing, we just mentioned it before we get to the finish, like the weird thing with the whole thing with the steel chairs, and the thing how the Undisputed Era was taking out from, was it Dexter
Loomis?
Yeah, it's like, it was cool when it's like someone pulled the chair from underneath the ring, and all of a sudden he turns up and then just like basically kidnaps them, puts them in a car boot, and then just drives off. There you go, they're sorted. Don't have to worry about them for the rest of the match. But
don't know where they went.
Well, hopefully nothing too sinister.
I'm sure we'll find out on NXT.
Indeed, I can't wait to watch that, by the way. But yeah, I mean, again, the finish was again cliche, kind of like they keep doing too much of these like things with the whole like multiple chairs like finishes. I'm sure this is like the second or third time they've done it this year, or like the last couple of years.
When you have like these cinematic matches, it tends to have a lot of like melodramatic monologuing. So towards the end there, where Velveteen Dream has basically got Adam Cole on the ropes, Velveteen just needs to hit one move, and then that's it, he's won. But he's monologuing, he's taunting, and then Adam Cole just boom, straight nut shot. Simple as that, pretty much.
And the Panama Sunrise
on the chairs.
Yeah, I mean, it felt, I don't know, it's just like, for me, it's just like that finish was like, felt like, okay, we got to get this sorted. End it now. Because normally that kind of stuff in another, I'm sure in other takeover matches I've seen before with like Adam Cole, that's like one of many, many, many near falls, of many, many awesome, highlights or just bits when you think that would finish. But
yes,
it did feel, I feel like it was just like, okay, end it. We need to get this sorted. End it now. Get it out of the way. It was out of all the cinematic matches I've watched, even on NXT, WWE, and AEW, it's got to be the weakest I've seen.
I'd say so. And
it's kind of disappointing as well, because it's like it's like you would think NXT,
Yeah, to sum it up, I get that they're trying to do their own version or try and top the cinematic kind of experience. I get that, but not with that stipulation, and with that production value as well. Was pretty poor. As a real downside, it's probably the weakest match of the night for me. And it's odd saying that when it was Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream, but you couldn't focus on Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream because of the stipulation and the values, the production values of it, which is a real shame.
It didn't need it. It's not a match that needed this kind of level of production and stuff. Just let them have a regular match in the ring and just let it be like, I don't know, like steel cage, street fight, no disqualification, something like, as you said,
bang from ringside, something like that.
Yeah, just beat the, just let them have a great match. It feels a disservice because now if the stipulation is that Velveteen Dream can now no longer have a title shot as long as Adam Cole is champion, then this is technically a feud ender, and this doesn't feel right. Yeah. But I mean, Adam Cole, what do they do next? I mean, obviously they're building up a lot of great people, but who do you think is going to be the one? Do you think Finn Bálor might be the one finally end it, as you said earlier?
Well, this kind of like segues kind of nicely into the next match. So I have 3 people in mind. The first is, as you mentioned, Finn Bálor. I think he needs to end the year with one of the titles. So he's coming to come back to claim his kind of throne as Mr. NXT. Like, he built NXT. NXT is his home. NXT is his yard. He needs to have one of the titles. Keith Lee, just keep that push going, that gradual push. He's a great showcases Royal Rumble and Survivor Series. He's putting on some fantastic matches. Had a good match against Gargano, Jens Vilera, Dominik Dijakovic. Or it might be, in fact, it probably is too soon, I'd say. But again, leading on to the next match, Karrion Kross in his match against Tommaso Ciampa.
Yes, as always, you used to be called Killer Kross, but again, can't say killer when can't call.
No, you can't say killer.
I mean, just before we get into that, just one thing I just looking up, like, it would be funny. What did you think of that, like, weird sketch they did with the whole, like, whole thing about, the t-shirts thing with the 900 number thing? That's sort of like a parody of everyone getting old.
I thought it was just like a nice little bit of nostalgia. I was too young at the time to even remember those kind of things, and I only joined kind of like mid-Attitude Era, like 99, 2000. So when I started watching. But yeah, there was just a nice touch and sign of the times. But going back to Karrion Kross. Yeah, I wish they kept the name Killer Kross, because Karrion Kross, it sounds like Carrier Cross.
No, it's terrible for someone. It sounds terrible for someone like me that can't pronounce any words. And obviously because of my dyslexia, it's like if words sound similar, it's going to completely screw me up. So thanks, NXT WWE. Thank you so much for making this really hard to pronounce their names.
It could be worse. His name could be Chris Cross.
Oh no. Oh god. Imagine if that was his finishing move name or something.
Yeah.
I would be losing my head. I'd be like pulling my hair out. It'd be crazy. But I mean, for this match though, I mean, what do you think of him, like his debut, like how he's been booked, like the whole he's aligned with Scarlett, or they call her Scarlett, and the whole like her singing the theme song and all that kind of stuff. Like what are you thinking of it? Is it like you liking it so far, or do you think it's not really your thing?
Yeah, it is my thing. It's very kind of early days still. But this match, the result definitely helps Kross as well as Scarlett. I can see that entrance being a good signature. I can see the crowd singing along to the lyrics. I can see them chanting "Fall and Pray."
I think they were. I don't know. Obviously, the start. Obviously, the wrestlers, but they're probably told to say it. But yeah, they were kind of doing it in this match though. So if when you actually have fans back, maybe I could see them chanting that.
Yeah, potentially, so long as they don't shove it down their throats. But so long as I think Karrion Kross is, well, when he was in TNA and like as Killer Kross, he's very popular. And so the hardcore fans willing to forgive if they don't enjoy it, or just get involved because it's the thing he does. Whether it gets fully over, I'm not quite sure. The lip syncing, I'm not quite sure if I'm liking it or not yet, because it can look a little bit goofy. I think the second time I think she didn't lip sync. I think, and it looked more impactful. It was kind of like when she was walking down to the ring for that verse. It looked like it was kind of like an inner monologue, like she was singing the lyrics, but with her eyes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, when you like a tune, you can, even if it's you sing along to it when you sometimes do see wrestlers that the fans do, especially like Edge's theme, like they always sing like all the words because everyone knows them. I mean, it could work, but again, we only know when there's actually fans there, when we can actually see if people, because at the moment it looks goofy because it's basically her sort of singing to barely like 20 people.
Yeah.
So, or lip syncing. So until we get some fans back, that I don't think could be for a very long time, it's kind of hard to judge if it works or not. But I mean, for this match though, this was quick for what I was expecting. Yeah,
I didn't expect it to be this quick. It ran just over 6 minutes. I thought this would be I thought it would be a competitive squash match. I thought Karrion Kross would at least dominate, and he did. But I thought this match would go at least like 10, 15 minutes with Tommaso Ciampa. Like, Karrion Kross is pretty much playing and toying with Ciampa. Ciampa might be able to find like a little equalizer, like perhaps like the knee brace or a crutch, whatever it was. But yeah, I didn't expect it to be this quick. Not quite sure whether this hurts Tommaso Ciampa too much.
I don't think it does because he's kind of if you say in NXT, he's kind of like a legend, sort of like that kind of like top tier talent. He's been there for so long. He's done it. He's won it. He's that good. When it's like he's got that kind of level that like AJ Styles has in like Raw and SmackDown. He can lose, and it won't affect him really because he's that good. He'll be able to bounce back.
Yeah, and bear in mind he didn't. I can see this feud building as well. I can see another match. I can see this being a hardcore match or a street fight. This match maybe could have suited a parking lot brawl, perhaps like as their second match. I can probably see that working. Yeah,
I mean, just dominate. I mean, some of the moves. I mean, my God, the guys can do suplexes pretty damn well. I mean, it was better to. I mean, we're not even talking about like the finish with the whole like he done like an F5, like released. It's sort of like a released F5.
F5, yeah.
I mean, I was just surprised that it just felt like how short. I was expecting to be like 12 to 15 minutes and just be like a competitive match, but Kross wins. But it's just like it felt like I loved. Was it at the beginning where it's just like was it Ciampa was trying to hit like strikes, trying to take him out, and it was just no effect.
No,
sort of like it shows how good he is. I mean, I think it's just. It was just great. I think it shows how dangerous. This is how you should book someone like this. Make him get a big win off the bat. This makes him look amazing at the moment, like proper. This is how you should do it.
Yeah.
It's basically what you said earlier with the whole Damian Priest thing. with the whole if you want to get noticed, take out take out a scalp, sort of take out some big name instead of just winning squats matches basically.
Yeah. The only potential concern I have is, and this issue came up recently with, obviously the Fiend was popular, and then they put him in the Universal title picture when Seth Rollins was popular, and they shot themselves in the foot. And so it didn't really derail the Fiend's kind of momentum because he was still popular, but it definitely hurt him and definitely hurt Seth Rollins. But also what they're doing with AEW are doing this as well, where they brought in this new guy. He's got a couple of wins under his belt, but as going his first major feud is against the world champion and loses. Now has to go all the way back to the beginning again. When you spent all that time building him up. And I think they're going to do the same thing with Brian Cage as well for Fyter Fest. And obviously the biggest one was Shayna Baszler. My God, dominant at the Rumble, dominant at the Elimination Chamber. I think the first person, male or female, to eliminate absolutely everyone in the Chamber. And then loses in a very 50-50 match as opposed to being dominant, you know, and just losing by a fluke or skin of the teeth. Some kind of opportunity. And now look what's happened to Shayna Baszler. What is she doing now? She wasn't even on Raw this week.
I think, but with that, I mean, obviously, if you want to know our thoughts on that, just go back to our WrestleMania review. How much we're not happy with that.
Yeah, but that's just a warning. I mean, I'm sure they won't jump in straight away, but chances are they've got plenty of time until I think Boston is the next NXT Takeover. So, but
this is NXT though. I mean, they've got with that. They've got a good track record with this kind of stuff. They usually don't get it wrong when it comes to stars like this. Normally,
no, yeah.
But I mean, I've heard again. Obviously, I'm going to call him Killer Kross because that's what his name is. But I've heard of him, but I've never seen any of his stuff. Mm-hmm. So seeing this match, mate, is getting me really excited. To see what they can do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it depends on if this is the feud that's going to continue, or is it going to be like Tommaso Ciampa's been taken out. Obviously, one thing I suppose about this match is it was a submission, choked him out.
Yeah, choked him out. So yeah, again, so they could play off that as well. So Tommaso Ciampa, his body kind of gave up, but he didn't give up. So it's like, oh, you didn't actually beat me, and I just underestimated you. So now it's bring a step further, because then you can do the whole thing. Karrion Kross is so dominant and dangerous. Tommaso Ciampa goes, well, NXT again. Another person basically missed at NXT. This is my yard. You don't know how far I'm willing to go. I'll put my body on the line. I'll do whatever it takes, to take you out. And they could do a really good street fight, no holds barred, unsanctioned, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I could see unsanctioned would definitely work here.
Yeah,
it could get really personal very quickly.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would love. I gotta be honest. If this is a great start, I gotta be honest. If this starts like a feud,
yeah,
I would love it. So yeah, my only shock was that the way it ended submission and how short it was. But yeah, I mean, great stuff. I would say it's good. It's a good start for him, and it's the kind of thing you kind of need. Yes, now we're there. We've got there.
The main event of the evening.
Indeed. We got through all of that to get to the match we wanted to get to. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Oh, my word. Now, I expect nothing less from these three. Because it's talking about where Ripley's been great. Io Shirai is amazing. And obviously, as much as we all want to hate Charlotte Flair, she's really good in the ring. Obviously, we're talking about the triple threat match for the NXT Women's title against obviously Charlotte, Io Shirai, and Rhea Ripley. I kind of like the way that it's got the Stuka. Maybe it was set up like the theme of obviously in your house is an old pay-per-view, sort of like an old school build where it's sort of like someone wins the ladder match, has a shot. then has to go against Charlotte. Charlotte finds a way to get disqualified with the kendo stick, and then Rhea Ripley comes in, and then they have a match, Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. Charlotte gets them both DQ'd. Normally that never works for heels. I don't know why they do it.
Because GM will just come out and goes, okay, then you're just going to face both opponents then.
They keep making the same mistakes, these silly heels. But and obviously it set up a triple threat, and the way they really built this up is this epic fight. Yeah. That promo package was set out to be like, this is huge. Mim, what do you think? Were you huge fan of this match? Or
yeah, I enjoyed this match. Io Shirai, I expect nothing less. Io Shirai was absolutely fantastic, in particular as well. I'd like to see them do a little bit more with Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley taking out Charlotte Flair. Those kind of old school triple threat matches, especially in the Attitude Era, where it's usually two heels against the face, and the two heels usually work together for the majority of the match, and then eventually something will happen, and then they'll turn on each other. Yeah,
or like the old sort of like the heel with two faces, and sort of like going to one of the faces, going, we should work together, take her out, and then you be you and me. But I think Charlotte's more arrogant than that, so it kind of doesn't work. But I mean, she kind of did it at the beginning of the match, because he sort of went out of the ring and said, you two fight. I mean, again, it was just this is the kind of match you think of. This was a takeover main event type thing. It felt like
absolutely.
It was just hard hitting. It was move centric. Everything you had, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you had the cool thing where I think it was you had the submissions, you had high flying, you had that thing. Obviously, we'll go way later on the match, but the whole thing, Io Shirai jumping off the top of the was it the stage or the door?
Yeah. Picture perfect as well. Wonderful.
I mean, I should have known. I should have known when it's like you chucked it through that window. That's
there was no. I wish there was glass there, but never mind.
No,
I'm a 6 of a bitch.
No, it's because, to be fair, what you want it to be is sort of like the plexiglass, like the old Shane versus Kurt Angle one. The glass it should have been.
You want the sugar glass, plexiglass, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's.
Of course.
Yeah, well, I mean, I won't talk about that match at one point, but that's what I was thinking. But then you think, what I loved about that is you're like, it could be like something glass. It's like, it's just you just went through it it's like a letterbox, just like okay, that's weird. But that being that thing from the top was great. Obviously early on in the match you had, I noticed that that Boston Crab that Charlotte Flair did, looked very Jericho-ish.
Oh, like standing up, yeah.
Yeah, like sort of the old Balls of Jericho, the ones with you used to put the knee down, sort of like to.
Yeah, I think that's just like a standard Boston Crab technique, just to apply the pressure on the lower back.
No, it wasn't me saying that they're doing it on purpose. It's just when I saw that, I thought that looks like Jericho's thing. But maybe it's because I'm just a huge fan.
It's a pretty standard move. Yeah, it'd be like saying, "Oh, Charlotte Flair's figure four, leg block, figure four's leg foot." That's a Ric Flair kind of thing.
No, it's not like that. I didn't mean like that. But it's just like obviously we do a Boston Crab, but it's just a way to sort of put the knee in there. It's you don't see it. I don't see it as much, but again, it's just me, as always, standing alone with my observations. Anyway, but I mean, this whole thing was just it was just kind of like triple threats. I always worry, but it's like just everyone had their moment to shine. When Charlotte hit the natural selection and thought that's it, thought she was going to go and win it. The bit with when Rhea Ripley hit the what's that submission? Amazing submission she does.
It is a really cool submission. I'm not quite sure what it's called though.
Oh, the prism. Here we go. Prism trap submission. There it is.
Prism trap.
Yeah, it's like the way. Again, it's like it's this match had what I always love in matches. We have their moments where I went in not knowing who's going to win, and sort of have these moments where you're watching it going, okay, she's the moment where she's going to win. That's the moment where she's going to win. And this match had it. You thought you thought with that kendo stick moment. You thought, here we go, she's going to cheat to win. If you know the momentum of this match, you knew halfway 2/3 through this match, you knew Io Shirai was going to win it.
She's doing all those high spots, so part of me's going, well, I think Rhea's going to take the pin or submission, whoever it is. But then part of me was thinking it was going to be Io as the winner, because basically everything that's happened on Raw with Becky Lynch obviously now dropping the title to become a mother, pretty much. Again, congratulations to Becky and to Seth as well. But they need another big star to fill that gap. So it was the wise decision to have Charlotte drop the title and then come back.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't mess around though, did they? Because it's like she's was it prior to this? Obviously, it happened, but it was like was it Charlotte? Had like like she has a title match already.
Sort of. Well, she had the match with Asuka on Raw, but she then beat Asuka thanks to a distraction by Nia Jax. So it'd be Asuka and Nia at Backlash. I'd prefer if it was Asuka and Charlotte, but there we go. Which I'm expecting Asuka to win that. Like Kairi Sane will probably get involved, and then they'll go into probably an Asuka and Charlotte program, perhaps. I'm not quite sure has Asuka actually beaten Charlotte, because they've had a number of matches. I think Charlotte's won all of them. I may be completely wrong.
Not in one-on-one match, I don't think.
No.
Obviously, if you count the losses in them triple threats, she had been in the ladder match at TLC or the.
I'm talking the singles matches, yeah.
I don't think so. So the weird thing about this one is obviously Charlotte lost. She didn't take the pin. Obviously it was you thought when she had the figure 4 leg lock or the figure 8 or whatever on Rhea Ripley, you thought okay, that was it. But then Shirai, I mean, I think she kind of missed it a little bit because I think she landed on like Ripley's like neck or sort of like head. Like she was I guess she was supposed to hit the.
Yeah, the distance was fine. It was just slightly off target. Although didn't matter too much because it was a shin to the face, and that would have been a knockout blow. So it still worked. Yeah,
no, it wasn't. Again, it's not criticism. It's like I think I noticed it. It's like, oh, that looks like it might have overshot it a little bit.
It was wrong landing, yeah, but it still worked.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
buy it.
Yeah. Kind of like that. Just like you thought. It's kind of a similar. It was kind of like a similar finish. I thought to that was it Drake Maverick thing where I think it was where like had a submission. I think it was. And I can't remember the match, but like I think it was that triple threat match before, I think for the final, and I think it was supposed to be like Casida, like sort of like tapped him, got the tap out before he got the pin, but no one's the ref only saw the pin, and not the tap out. I think it seemed like a similar finish minus the tapping out, of course.
Yeah, when you said it was a similar finish, I thought you were going to mention because I've thought of a match there. It reminded me of the finish of when Jeff Hardy finally became WWE champion, when he beat Triple H and Edge at Armageddon in 2008. Yeah, I believe Triple H hit the pedigree on Edge's. Jeff Hardy looked like he was going to go for the swanton, gets knocked off or distracted, whatever it was, low blow. Just on the top rope, or he's leaning off the top rope. Triple H hits the pedigree. Here we go again. Jeff Hardy was so close, but then off camera, Jeff Hardy hits the swanton bomb, knocks Triple H off, pins Edge 1, 2, 3. It's very, very similar.
Fair dues. I mean, I guess it's just I have that match. It's what I think of because obviously I watched that match probably 2 weeks before, like the week of leading up, so it's fresh in the mind, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's a similar finish. It's just. It works because I put Rhea Ripley to win it because I thought, because Charlotte's sort of reign as champion is sort of like it kind of has not worked in some ways. I'm sure it was supposed to be like a ratings boost or something when she won it. I think.
Yeah, I don't think it was a failure, and I don't think it's got anything to do with Charlotte, because I can understand why they did it, and it's also presents an opportunity for someone on Raw or SmackDown to be elevated. Obviously, that person should have been Shayna Baszler, but then they screwed that up. So they shot themselves in the foot again. But obviously, Becky going off, they need to fill that gap. So Charlotte had to... Well, they had no choice. They had to put Charlotte back in that picture.
Yeah, but for me, it's just... I don't know, maybe I was expecting more. I was expecting it to be a bit more like sort of...
Yeah, for sure. I think that was the plan. That everyone was expecting Charlotte to maybe hold the title for perhaps a year. Who knows? So when whoever does beat her, it becomes a big deal. It's like whoever would beat Asuka for the first time. Oh yeah, that was Charlotte.
I don't know, man. It's just that it felt like, I think what was the problem with it, I think it was because she was on all shows. I would have liked it if it was just a thing where she was, I know it's like exposure for the NXT women's title, but
yeah,
I like the idea of it's just like she won the title, so she has to be on NXT and that's it. Maybe might have worked, and then but I mean, again, it's just it's kind of a great, love the Io Shirai like sort of like journey of like her turning heel, sort of like going, embracing her dark side.
Yeah,
embracing her dark side. This is a perfect example of why some characters turn heel for the better, and it works. Because when you're a heel, you seem to be able to bring out more character than you are as a face sometimes.
And the heel turn was justified as well. Obviously, she had that feud with Shayna Baszler. Candice LeRae got involved. Io Shirai was frustrated, so beats up Shayna Baszler after the match. Then they have the rematch in the cage, which was great. Candice LeRae gets involved again. Pretty much costs Io Shirai inadvertently. Io Shirai takes out frustration on Candice LeRae. They have a lovely feud. Match of the night on the Takeover. And Io Shirai completely shines in the War Games match. She's the MVP. That moonsault was absolutely incredible. So one of the highlights of that year. She's been popular like pretty much ever since. Well, she's been popular kind of like throughout, especially that heel turn really did elevate her, but people didn't want to boo her because she was so good.
Yeah, that's the problem with sometimes with heels like that. It's like she's so good in the ring. Like you can't, because she does the moments that like faces do, like the high flying stuff, and you go, "Oh, that's amazing." Are you supposed to boo that?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
No, you can't boo that.
But yeah, it was a great win. It was a great win for her, and it was great. And the way I like the special, the bit with the confetti and stuff, just made it feel like it was properly special.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it wasn't. It's like no one's a loser here in the sense that Rhea Ripley is going to be great. We all forget she's only 23.
Something like that, yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah, again, it's like 23 and she's that good. Wonder what she could be like in a couple of years. Charlotte, she didn't get the pin, so technically she's protected. And yeah, so Io Shirai has finally got the title. The question is, do you think that's going to be like a Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai like feud for the summer, maybe? Possibly?
Yeah, I can see it potentially. Maybe they want to do something with Candice LeRae or Dakota Kai. I'm imagining one of those in the heel team, because I can't imagine Io Shirai being or continuing that kind of heelish kind of run after that big win and the way it was celebrated and the way she was so thankful, especially on Twitter. To all the fans, definitely going against one of the heel roster members, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think as always, this what this match shows is that, as we always known, is that NXT is probably the best women's division in the world.
I think WWE in general. I mean, I haven't seen any of like Shimmer, so I wouldn't know. I'd have to watch that. But WWE in general have a really good women's division. I mean, you only have to look at their current champions as well. You think, oh bloody hell, like Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte as the ex-champion, Io Shirai, Asuka. Yeah,
it actually feels like you got some really good people as champions. But yeah, I mean, Io Shirai, yeah, it just felt like a well-deserved, and yeah, it just capped off a takeover that wasn't the best, but I don't know how to describe this one really.
Again, it struggled because of the lockdown. I get it. You have some crowd members there, the people from the Performance Center, NXT stars, or NXT stars in the making, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to capture the essence of a live show. As much as they try to, as much as they're getting better at it, some of that magic is lost.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just I think I've got past the point of like I've got used to it, but like sort of like, was it wrestlers as fans type thing? Again, I don't want to be that guy that sort of like basically praises everything AEW does, but they have pretty much it felt good. It felt better. I I don't know if they were just more passionate or just like they were allowed to just be themselves, maybe. Because the problem with the fans in this one, like I've heard stories that they make them stay there for like hours on end, and sort of like it did feel like sort of like not as expressive as like the AEW, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it didn't feel like the actual like fans. It was more sort of like they were supportive, but they were sort of like I don't want to say scripted. I don't want to say obviously it is scripted, but like you know what I mean. I didn't feel as passionate.
Yeah,
especially with the stuff when they had to boo. It felt like, oh, we have to boo. They're heels. Okay, it didn't feel like a natural.
Yeah, AEW have they have the heels and they have the faces out there. So the heels are cheering the heels, the faces are cheering the faces, and you get the smarky fans like us. Again, going back to Io Shirai, is a heel, but we cheer them because they're great. You know, the heels might be cheering them because they do bad things, I guess. But you would have that. They're usually like a smart crowd anyway, the AEW fans.
Oh, yeah, I mean, so let's sort of wrap this up because again, we don't want another 2 hour spectacular. So like if you again, we don't. I'm gonna have to try and get more grading. Like if you're gonna put out a grade for this or like a out of 10, what would you give it?
I'd give it a solid like C plus. I enjoyed. Obviously, the main event. It was a really nice feel good moment. Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano was good, but it was ultimately let down, especially for the parking lot brawl. That was a bit of a dud for me.
Yeah, it's just unusual to have to see a dud in a takeover. You know, it's just it doesn't feel it doesn't feel right.
No, the match didn't showcase what those two guys can do.
Yeah, I think it just might be because they sort of spring this thing out of the blue. Might have been a problem as well, because normally they plan it like every 2 or 3 months, or like 2 months, sort of like plan out 2 months worth, and then there's a takeover. Could they have like 4 takeovers a year?
Yep.
Is it 4? Yeah, minus if they have any specials.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's like it felt like it's rushed. In some parts were a bit forced, and it didn't. But. I mean, it's definitely not the. I wouldn't say it's with. I think it's just the level of NXT takeovers have given us over the years. They've always been top notch. It's kind of a disappointment, but they were bound to have one eventually, right? They've had a good record so far, so
yeah, they're bound to. I'm sure they'll bounce back. And as soon as the crowds are allowed back, I'm sure it's going to be a hot crowd, and they're going to have an extra special card. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, but I don't know what we have no idea when that would be. I mean, there's a difference from obviously in the UK they're opening shops and some restaurants and stuff, but that's like a far cry from going to watch large scale events. So I don't know. Who knows? But that's a view of NXT Takeover in your house. Obviously. Prior to, as we know, that obviously Backlash is this weekend, I think, if I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like we've had a good collection of like 2 or 3 weeks of just like reviewing. That's quite unusual for us, not for a while anyway.
I know. Well, it gives us something to do as well.
Yeah, and also as always, mate, it's always nice to chat wrestling with you as always. So
absolutely,
any excuse we can use to do that, then I'm totally up for it. I mean, obviously we'll be back for that. Obviously one thing you should check out, if you've pinned, I don't know if you've pinned the tweet, maybe, was obviously we had our prediction game, our NXT one. Very close.
I did. It's very close indeed. I think there's like 3 or 4 competitors on 18, and then there's a couple of 17s, a couple of 16s. The highest score was 20.
We came second, so that was nice.
Yeah, joint second. I feel bad for RJ at Ringside Rant, because he would have drawn, I think, at the top, or had a slightly higher score. I think maybe 22-24. However,
did he use his tiebreaker one?
Yeah, he had a failed tiebreaker because he got all the correct. I think it was on Karrion Kross by pin. I think he put. But yeah,
poor guy.
minus 10. But because he got the full 7 points for the 6-woman tag, and got Io pinning Rhea for the triple threat, so the full 5 points. Yeah, so he would have been ahead there, which is frustrating. But anything can happen now. It's that tight. It could come down to a singles match, or if a few people fail their tiebreakers, a few people get some good, successful tiebreakers, you could either create that gap, or it could remain as tight as it is. And if NXT is only 3 or 4 events, it's going to be very tight and very compelling. Anyone can win it.
That might happen, may not. So we're back for that next. Might do if just because it'd be fun to see me pronounce them. Maybe might do something for the Japan Cup. I think it's New Japan announced a couple of days ago. I think yesterday maybe that they are doing they are actually returning to do some shows that haven't done anything for 2 to 3 months now. They've while everybody else has been doing shows in America, in Japan they haven't been doing any shows. So it'd be great to see New Japan back. So I think it would be cool if we can do that as well, because that'd be fun to watch. So watch out for that. Hopefully, if we do that, I will put. And also for the JSPL for last round, I'll put that up at some point, because I should have put that up anyway, but I will now. So I'll do that in the next couple of days. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed, basically. I mean, this NXT enjoyed the hell out of it, to be fair. Again, nothing's going to top that Double or Nothing AEW. That was just like, out of all the pay-per-views of what's in this lockdown, that's the best by far.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so we'll be back. Check out our Twitter at Josh and Stu Pod. Obviously, you see if obviously it would be more of our. If you want to know, obviously check out Josh's What Culture articles if you haven't already. Obviously they're either on his Twitter or they'll be on ours. Just check them out. We done one about The Rock.
Yeah, do check them out. I recently did one about The Rock and his weirdest moments. And it'd be a very weird moment if The Rock turned up as a surprise wrestler at Backlash.
I mean, he's too busy, mate. He's running for president. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, if The Rock were... Oh, sorry. I just love that. It's just like... Imagine if Dwayne, The Rock Johnson...
But when we say The Rock, it wouldn't be... By the way, it wouldn't be The Rock running. It would be Dwayne Johnson. But
no,
I'd much rather it be The Rock.
Oh, come on.
The problem is if The Rock was not champion, it was president, you do realise how many wars would start, probably, because The Rock would run his mouth.
I can imagine it. It's just like he can sit there saying... you're just like, what's your opinion? It doesn't matter what your opinion is. I mean, come on. If The Rock was, it would start wars. But my God, wouldn't press conferences be so much fun?
Yeah, The Rock's gonna take that peace treaty, shine it up real nice, lube it up, turn that bitch.
Anyway,
I think actors should stick to acting, wrestlers should stick to wrestling, and presidents or politicians should stick to politics.
True, but anyway, just so I don't think he'd be involved in anything wrestling for a while. But anyway, yes. So I think we should. It's getting to that time again, mate. We've completely could be 2 hours again, but hopefully I'll do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Check out our Twitter. Check out our website at. Type in JNS Wrestling Pod on Wick, or click on the link on our Twitter, and we'll be back for Backlash. Have a good day or evening whenever you listen to it. I've been Stuart Vine.
I've been Joshua Plummer.
Bye everyone. Bye.
Bye everyone.